Hello, people. This is Socrates' son. Recently, I had a conversation with a gentleman called Darth Dawkins about atheism. Before I show you the conversation, I would like to refute presuppositional apologetics and explain why this line of reasoning is wrong. Let me explain. What is presuppositional apologetics? In short, without God, we lose all intelligibility. Nothing makes sense without God. So, in that sense, the mere fact that I'm reasoning right now to communicate to you proves there is a God. What is wrong with this reasoning? It's a circular argument. The argument presupposes a premise to prove a premise. An internally logically consistent argument is not necessarily true. What makes an argument true? If it's got sound reasoning, but also it needs to relate to reality. Let me give you an example. Who ate the pie? A cat ate the pie. She jumped half a meter, got to the pie and ate it. That is a logically consistent argument. A cat can jump half a meter. If the pie was in a skyscraper, that wouldn't have been logical. How the cat jumped to the skyscraper. So we have a logically consistent argument. A cat jumped half a meter and ate the pie. Does that mean this is true? No, maybe the neighbor ate the pie. So, for an argument to be true, it doesn't just need to be logically consistent, it also needs to relate to reality. The argument of presuppositional apologetics is a very intelligent, internally, logically consistent argument. But is it true? What it needs to be true? To relate to reality. So, what is the argument? We necessarily need God for the universe to have intelligibility, to be rationally deductible, in other words, and also to account for our rational faculties. So, the mere fact that you argue against God proves God. That is the argument. This argument is internally consistent, but it presupposes this. We necessarily need God for the universe, blah, 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 blah. So it presupposes that we necessarily need God. In other words, it's a circular argument. It includes in its premise what it wants to prove. Now, the proponents of presuppositional apologetics will say, how you know it presupposes God exists? Therefore, you use reasoning, therefore, that proves God. But again, can you understand what I'm saying? You presuppose in your premise what you say is true, but you never connected what you say to reality. You are just making an internally consistent argument. In order for an argument to be true, you need to connect what you say to reality. Now, from my point of view, as an atheist, I will also make an internally consistent argument. And then we can test whose argument is true, related to reality. First of all, we need to address the intelligibility of the universe, then the consistency of natural laws that allow intelligibility, and finally, how we can account for objective reasoning. I claim the intelligibility of the universe is because we relate our reasoning to what works in a given environment. Now you will tell me, nice story, Socrates' son. Now you need to prove that. It's a good internally consistent argument. Now relate what you say to reality in order to be true. What if God came to earth and said, an elephant can fit through a mouse hole? Is he true? Is he logical? No. We take the elephant and we see that he doesn't fit. And what he needs to do in order to be true? He needs to change the environment. Make the elephant smaller or make the mouse hole larger. So what is the factor? Is that God? No, the environment is what defines truth. Now, presuppositional apologists might say, just because God said it, it became true. Just because God said an elephant can fit through a mouse hole, it became true. How it became true? He still doesn't fit through the mouse hole. But it immediately becomes smaller. But if God needs to change the environment in order for what he says to be true, that means that the environment is the factor that defines what's true. So now, what happened? Presuppositional apologists made a logically consistent argument. I also made a logically consistent argument. What's the difference of us two? I just related my argument to reality. And you didn't. Okay, that makes my argument true. Now, let's address the consistency of natural laws that allow us to rationalize and make physics, for example, and experiments. We rely that the laws of nature are consistent. Here, we need to make a distinction between the cosmological level and the ontological level. In other words, the level of our mind with the level of the physical world. We will see Darth Dawkins often conflated those two in the conversation. What Einstein proved? That our universe is a time-space environment. In other words, it's one thing. Like we say, the universe is Apple. That's why the laws are conforming. It's one thing. So, if the time-space bends, that has certain qualities. Whatever it is in this one thing, the time-space. So, even if that is million light years away, as long as it is in this universe has certain qualities. If the time-space bends, it's got certain qualities. But is that conforming to all the cosmos? No, it isn't. Maybe other universes have other natural laws. Other universes, in fact, we know that there are many universes that go into existence and they die instantly. Exactly because they don't have the natural laws to sustain themselves. So physics already proved that. Physics already proved that the laws of physics are not conforming. They are conforming just in our bubble, in a small bubble we call our universe. So that argument fails. You say that because we know that the laws of physics conforms, that means God exists. Yeah, but they doesn't. They do not in other universes. They just conform in our bubble. So, according to your argument, God doesn't exist because they do not conform. And this is a very important point we need to consider. Presuppositional apologists will claim that human logic or logic is the absolute and the environment, nature, needs to follow human logic. How on earth did you came to this conclusion? Evolution proved that our logic is evolved to only grasp our immediate environment. Our logic is limited. That's why we constantly need to tune our logic to the scientific method. So, the universe goes over our logic. That's why we could continue doing modern physics only if we trust the scientific method, logical or not. That was the case with Einstein and his theory of relativity. The theory of relativity is counterintuitive, and that is the case in quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics are counterintuitive. See this conversation of Niels Bohr, with Einstein. Einstein says, "I am convinced that God doesn't play dice." And Niels Bohr answers, "Stop telling God what to do." Niels Bohr was a quantum mechanics advocate. Who won this argument? It was not Albert Einstein. Okay, Niels Bohr won this argument. So you, Darth Dawkins, don't even consider the one opinion that nature can be counterintuitive. The most prominent opinion right now in physics. In our conversation, you told me not to mention quantum mechanics because you will throw up. Wait just a moment. That preassumes that logic is over reality. That's totally wrong. Human logic is a product of this universe. It's under nature. Doesn't mean that nature needs to follow human logic. Human logic needs to conform with nature. And this is what we were doing all along. We conform our logic to fit to the facts, not squeeze the facts to fit to our logic. The argument of presuppositional apologetics presupposes that in the center of reality is consciousness, in a kind of biocentric view. That consciousness gives rise to the natural world, in other words. There is a physicist named Lanza that tries to prove this theory. He's still at the fringe. Okay, he's kind of pseudo-scientist. Okay, that's a good theory, but is it proven? No, it isn't. So you are making arguments based on assumptions like Hamza already proved this theory. That's light years away from that happened. Yet you presuppose this world is true. Why? Let me give you some examples to demonstrate that this view is far from proven. Brain injuries alter personalities. How is that possible? I thought first we have consciousnesses and then we have the brain. No, the opposite. If you harm our physical self, our character changes. Where is God's justice? The problem of evil. In a scenario that consciousness is at the center, that means morality is at the center of this universe. Do you see morality in the center of this universe? No, the universe is exactly as evolution predicts, lamely pragmatic, insanely wasteful, and randomly cruel. That is what we see. So the biocentrism, the idea that consciousness is at the center of the universe, doesn't relate to reality yet. Yet, you presuppose that this is true. You take that as a fact. No, it isn't a fact. So you made a nice internally consistent argument. Now you need to relate your argument with reality. Finally, let's see how we can account for objective reasoning. Evolution tuned our mind to recognize patterns that work in a given environment in order to survive. That is the connection of our mind to the environment. Now you might say that evolution tunes to survival, not to truth. Truth and survival are both related to what works in a given environment. Therefore, our logic is partially reliable as this theory predicts. And truly, our logic is partially reliable. You see that every day. That our logic is not reliable, it's partially reliable. You accuse me, for example, of being not reasonable. So my logic failed, exactly as this model predicts. Throughout history, humans constantly tuned our logic to the scientific method. That happened throughout history. We constantly need to tune our logic to what works in a given environment, to what we see we get from the environment. The atheist worldview fits perfectly with this reality. How does the theist worldview fits with this reality? Why in a God worldview our logic is not reliable? That means that us going to hell is partly God's fault. Okay, so we see in one perspective it fits perfectly, in the other perspective, To conclude, atheists have a down-up logic, a ladder that is logically consistent. Theists have also a top-down logic, a crane that is again logically consistent. Now we need to investigate which worldview fits better to reality in order to make it true. Presuppositional apologetics is a logical fallacy, is a circular argument. The word itself says it's a logical fallacy. Presuppositional. Why you presuppose? So you include in your premise what you want to prove. That's a logical fallacy. It's an internally consistent argument that you need to pin down to reality in order to be true. Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, don't answer me. I'm going to kick you.
I'm trying, sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry about that, sir. Excuse me, I couldn't, I'm not familiar with Discord very much and I was muted.
Not a problem. It's just we get a lot of troll.
Sorry about that, yes. My name is Socrates.
Okay, not a problem. Where are you from, my friend?
I am from Greece.
I'm American, and I consider Italian and Greek women among the most beautiful women in the world.
Oh, thank you for the compliment, sir.
Well,
and I also love USA. I think it's the greatest country of the world. Honestly,
it's too bad that we have leftists and commies and socialists in both of our countries.
I agree, sir. And I used to be a leftist, but then I saw David Horowitz videos.
Yep, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's very smart. And I didn't know anything about politics. And as they say, leftists have very good propaganda. And I was carried away. But now I don't like the left.
That's because they are liars from birth.
Yeah, the left is, they
lie about everything.
Yeah, I must agree on that, unfortunately. They consider themselves liberal, although they are not really liberal. They are...
no, they're lunatics. They're crazy.
They are dogmatics.
What is the Greek word for crazy?
Trelos.
Trelos?
Trelos. Trelos. It's the Greek word for crazy.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Since Greek is your first language.
Of course.
How different is reading the New Testament in Greek from reading modern Greek?
Yes, that's a very good question, sir. Although it's not that different, someone who is familiar with the modern Greek language, he can understand the language of the New Testament. And what is the thing? Is that because Greek is the language of the philosophers, the words of the New Testament, if somebody is Greek and is reading the New Testament, he can understand the meaning. Okay, so when Muslims argue that the New Testament doesn't claim that Jesus is God, for example, for a Greek sounds completely silly, because when a Greek reads the New Testament, it's obvious the real meaning. So the words, some words lose their meaning in the translation.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true. So the New Testament definitely favors the Trinity.
We see they have this stupid, childish understanding that the Trinity is tritheism, that there are three separate gods.
Yeah. The Trinity, yes, of course, yes. If you read the New Testament in the Greek language, because it's the language of the philosophers, one small word, maybe you cannot understand what it means. No, how can I say that? You can understand what it means, although you don't really. It contains deep meaning, every word, and. That's what I'm trying to say. That in the Greek, in the translations, you lose much of the meaning. That's what I'm trying to say. So in the Greek language, when you read the New Testament, you definitely understand the concept of the Trinity. You understand it. It's plain obvious. So, I am an atheist, by the way, but I'm here to say that...
Well, you've come to the right place. This is the Atheist Hotline.
Yes, I know, sir.
Okay. So let's start off, okay. It's commonly believed and advocated that many atheists lack belief in God, okay?
Yes.
Now, the problem with that definition is it is ambiguous. It's unclear.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Of course, yes.
Now, because everyone who denies the existence of God also lacks belief in God.
Yeah, of course, but sir, excuse me, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. When you say deny, it's a loaded word. Isn't that right? Because that presupposes...
Well, in English,
yes,
to deny means to say that the proposition is false.
Yes, but you...
if I deny there's gold on the surface of Mars,
yes,
I am saying that the proposition there's gold on Mars is false.
Yeah, but that is, with all due respect, that is what I call... the throne delusion. What that means, that you already think that you presuppose that your view is already established, and the interlocutor need to shake you from your throne. You are not starting from a neutral position.
Okay, that's a good point. Now, what you are saying is true, but is in actuality, it does not apply to the category of what we call God.
Now I understand.
What you are saying is true applies to other things that are not God.
Yeah, I understand.
Because God is defined as the ultimate absolute source of all temporal facts. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, if you choose to withhold positive belief in that is not a mere non-acceptance, like saying, oh, I don't believe that there's gold on Mars, but I'm not denying it. Well, you can get away with that.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a positive belief that God is creator and sovereign over all, then that is a denial, whether it's direct or indirect.
If I define atheism, the belief that there is no God, I think that this is a more accurate definition than denying of God, because in the denying of God is a loaded word that implies that
not in English.
Yeah, I understand what you said.
Not in Western English, it isn't. Maybe you're thinking that in English, when you deny something, you're saying the proposition is false. Denial is not, I don't accept it.
Denial is... Yes, but...
Denial in English means, like, if you say to me, do you assert there's gold on Mars? And I say, no, I deny it. That means I am saying, not only do I not accept that there's gold on Mars, that the proposition that there is gold on Mars is false.
Oh, yes. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. It's a level of confidence, isn't that right?
Rejection. Okay, now, like, for example, if I say to you, you say to me, there's gold on Mars, I say, I don't accept that. Okay?
Yes.
That can mean denial, or it can just simply means I'm unconvinced. I'm not saying there isn't, but you haven't... Okay, but you see, in English, to deny means to say, no, that's false.
Of course, but deny is a bit of a loaded word because it implies a level of confidence. For example, okay, let's say in the dark side of the moon, there was a pink dragon. Somebody claimed, actually, that I claim in the dark side of the moon there is a pink dragon. And you say, I don't believe that. Say, so you deny that. That means that...
well, there's listen to me.
Yes.
There's a fine line between not having a belief and believing it doesn't exist. Okay?
Yes.
All right? Now, the issue of a level of confidence in belief in God's existence is not really important in the atheist-theist debate. Okay?
Yeah,
right? Now, the point is this. Either you believe that God is creator over all, or you don't believe it.
Exactly, okay? Yes. So I don't...
Now, but when it comes to the category that God is in, that means that you believe the proposition of God is false, even if you say, but I'm not saying it's false.
Yeah,
because if you do not accept the proposition that God is creator over all, then you are believing that facts exist without the necessity of God.
Yeah, I do believe that facts exist.
Then that is the denial of the proposition that God is.
Yeah.
You are holding to the position, the proposition God exists is false.
Yes, but with all due respect, sir, you presuppose your worldview is true.
You don't have to say in all due respect.
Okay.
You've been polite the whole time, so I'm fine with you.
Okay. That's a kind of a secular argument because you presuppose your worldview exists in order to prove your worldview.
But that's not what we're discussing right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand. Yes.
I know that, but we're not discussing that. Yeah. That's a different subject.
Oh, I see.
What we're discussing is, what is atheism?
Atheism, right? Let me explain. Let me give the definition. Atheism comes from the Greek word atheos.
Okay. Listen.
Of course you know. Okay.
I know. How did you find your way here?
I saw the debate of Pio. No, yes, I saw in a channel of Rabbit, a channel called...
Okay. Yeah, that's a Darth Dawkins attack YouTube channel.
Darth Dawkins, really?
Yeah, I'm Darth Dawkins.
Okay, sir. So
and Tom Rabbit produces attack videos trying to make me look bad.
Oh, I see. Okay. I just saw one video. I didn't see it.
Okay.
And I saw a Discord connect.
I at least have to thank him for he puts the link so people find it in here. That's good.
Yes.
Excellent.
I saw the link and I pressed the link and it got me here.
So basically, when we talk about atheism, we're not talking about the origin of the term.
I see.
Okay?
So
we're not talking about in English it's called etymology.
Yeah, I know. And
the meaning of the word in Western English,
yes,
it means the denial of the existence of God. But certain atheists on the internet do not want to concede to that. They want atheism simply to be a autobiographical statement, a statement about their psychology, and not a proposition about whether God exists or not. Okay?
In my definition, atheist is the one that doesn't believe God exists. So I don't believe God exists.
So God does not exist as far as you're concerned.
Not a definite statement. That's I don't believe he exists because absolute truth is really difficult to ascertain.
Okay.
For example,
well, it's not really important your level of confidence. Okay, it doesn't matter. In our discussion, it doesn't matter to me.
I see. So
whether you're 45% certain, 65, 75, 12, it doesn't matter. Either you believe that God is the creator, or you don't. Okay?
Yes. I don't believe God exists. Yes.
Okay, good. So then, do you believe that the matter and energy is all there is?
Yes, I believe that. I believe in materialism.
Okay. How old are you?
I am 40.
40?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're one of the few atheists that, don't rub me the wrong way. You're a nice guy.
Thank you very much.
Most of the American atheists and English atheists, they're I don't know how they say it in Greek. They're dirtbags.
They are yes,
scum.
They are trying to win debates. First of all, let me say that although I'm an atheist, I'm culturally Christian. I believe in Christian politics. I love Jesus Christ. Okay, so.
Okay, but you see, you shouldn't love Jesus Christ if you're an atheist, because you see, Jesus was either a liar or insane then. If you don't believe that Jesus is God manifested in the flesh, then he was either crazy or a liar.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yes. Or legend. There is a third option.
Well, yeah, okay. You could that's possible. Okay, so how is it that God doesn't exist? How did you come to that conclusion?
The world around the world around me makes more sense in an atheist worldview. This is my answer.
Okay.
I don't think consciousness is at the same.
I'm gonna show you why that conclusion cannot be held to. You can't sustain that. Okay. I'm gonna show you why. Yes. Okay. Now. So, since you're Greek, you're probably familiar with the basic concepts within Christianity. Okay?
Yeah,
you're probably more familiar with Greek Orthodoxy, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm not a Greek Orthodox. I'm opposed to Greek Orthodoxy. I am a Bible-believing Christian.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
All right, but I'm going to show you how your desire that you believe in a worldview that makes sense, I'm going to show you why that means you're going to have to get rid of atheism. Okay?
Okay.
Now, so let's compare and contrast the two different worldviews, all right?
Yes.
So in the Christian worldview, we have a world, okay? That world has at its foundation. And by the way, if I use any words that you're unfamiliar with, please don't hesitate.
I will ask.
And ask me to explain, okay?
Of course.
By the way, your English is great, okay?
Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah. I see many YouTube videos.
That's good. Your English is great.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so in the Christian worldview, we have a world, and the world is in two parts, okay?
Yes.
We have God, who is eternal. He's ultimate, which means he's the source and basis of everything. Right? And he's absolute.
Yes.
Right? So we have the creator, and then we have the creation. That's called the creator, creation, or creator-creature distinction.
I see.
Okay?
Yes.
So it's a dualistic system. We have God,
yes,
and we have his creation. Right?
Yes.
Now, in the Christian worldview, the only reason why anything exists or has actuality, and in fact, why it has meaning and intelligibility, right, is because it is created and instituted and it's sustained by God's mind and his purpose and plan for creation.
I see.
Okay? So the rock on the side of the road when I'm changing my flat tire only exists because God made this world, and the world runs according to his plan. And a rock is only a rock because it starts in the mind of God, and then it is unpacked by God's creation and God's sustaining.
Yeah.
Now, in such a world, a rock can be meaningful and intelligible only by virtue of its ultimate origin, which is God. Okay? So
yes.
that's the Christian worldview.
Yes.
But now, in the non-Christian worldview, or the atheist worldview,
yes,
you believe that you can invoke the actuality and intelligibility of facts, no God needed. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, because there's no ultimate or foundational and fundamental background information for facts to be the facts.
Yeah, I see what you mean, yes.
Okay, so people believe, let's say, but what are you talking about? I don't believe in God, but I can talk about the rock. I can talk about throwing the rock and collecting rocks and building a wall with it. And I don't believe in God. Well, the issue is not that you can talk about facts while not believing in God. The question is, can you have facts in a world where God does not actually exist? Because remember, yes, in the God world, okay, and I'm only talking about the God of the Bible, right? Yeah. I don't talk about other gods because I consider that they cannot be defended, okay?
Yes.
Only because of God's mind, plan, and purpose does the rock exist and have meaning. And how I consider and conceive of that rock will only be true and factual if my belief about that rock corresponds to how God thinks about that rock.
Yeah, so,
now,
yeah, so, excuse me, sir, please continue, yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so now, but the rock in the not God world, you have no background information. Because in order to talk about a rock, you have to get into the fact that this particular has properties and attributes, and that it's within a category called rock.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I see.
But
yes,
what makes the category of rocks? Okay, what makes a rock would be a category, a class, or a universal. Okay, you got rocks, dogs, trees, right?
Yes, yes.
And so, in order to say that is a rock, there has to be something outside that imposes the rockness.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Okay, and that's going to have to be, but you're going to say, well, I don't believe it's God, but I believe it's matter, energy, and the laws of nature and causality.
Yes.
Right? But there are no laws of nature unless that you can defend.
Let me give you this is a sort of we cannot account for objective reasoning without God. Isn't that right? The argument, more or less.
Without acknowledging God's self-disclosure of Himself through creation and through special revelation, when we dismiss those, then whatever we talk about will be without ultimate background information.
Okay, I would like to make an argument against that with an example. Let's say, I'm making a hypothesis. Let's say God came to Earth and said, an elephant can fit through a mouse hole. Is he being true? If rationality comes from God and it's irrespective of the environment,
since God is the institutor and securer of all things, God can supersede the laws of nature.
Yeah, but what he needs to do in order this proposition to be true, he needs to change the environment. Isn't that right? Because
no, he doesn't.
So if he says an elephant can fit through a mouse hole, if God came to Earth and says an elephant can fit through a mouse hole. Is he being true? Logical? Is he being logical?
No. The answer is, since God controls all things, God could
make the elephant smaller and the mouse hole.
No. The point is, God, since God is the source of all possibility,
yes,
God is not surrounded by any higher level things. So God can even supersede the laws of nature. Now, the point is simply this, okay?
Yes.
If you, I'm sure, would acknowledge, and most atheists will acknowledge, that in the Christian world, in the God world, a rock is only a rock as a fact, if and only if our concept of the fact equals or corresponds to the mind of God, right?
Yeah.
In that world. But when in your not God world, what is the ultimate frame of reference? What is the background information that will make a rock a rock?
Is not, how can I say that? It's not, let me think.
Does a rock being a rock require laws of nature?
Yes, it requires. It's a physical.
So when you say, well, I don't believe in God, and there's a rock. Me telling you there's a rock, and for that to be meaningful and intelligible, I don't believe there's a God, but that's meaningful. I said, good. But when you tell me that that thing is a rock,
yes,
that's going to require that the world around me operates according to laws of nature, regularities, that entail making that thing a rock along with other rocks.
Sir, you're...
Now, so does the fact of the rockness depend upon laws of nature?
The rockness, okay, that's a very good point, because it implies to the meaning. So this argument is that we cannot account, there is no meaning in the universe without God, isn't that right?
Listen to me, I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
Can we talk about rocks if we do not believe that the world around us operates in some law-like or regular ways?
I believe, yes, we can, as long there is consciousness in the universe. You imply
you're
that
not
we
understanding.
need...
Okay, in order for there to be chickens,
yes,
okay, a chicken is not just simply a name of that thing. The chicken is identifying that particular is a member of a category.
Yeah,
it has properties and attributes which are the product of something else.
Yeah,
and that's nature, right? Laws of nature.
Yes.
Can you have a chicken without laws of nature?
No, you can't.
Okay, so when you say you can have a chicken without God,
yes,
but you can't have a chicken without laws of nature. Now,
yes,
as an atheist, since God is deemed not to exist as the creator, as ultimate, as absolute,
yes,
the one who institutes and secures laws of nature,
yes,
how do you establish that there are laws of nature? What institutes and secures laws of nature?
Okay, that is the the rationality of the universe. That the conformity, that the laws of nature are consistent. That is the argument.
Are the laws of nature derivative? Did they derive from something else?
Yeah.
Or are the laws of nature themselves eternal and absolute?
Okay, what I believe is that is the anthropic principle. What that means, that our universe is there was a multiverse with multiple laws of nature.
I understand that. All I want to know is this: are the laws of nature that you believe in eternal?
No, they apply to our universe.
Good. Then they are temporal, and they begin to exist. Now,
yes.
Now you have two things that you have to accomplish. You're going to have to first tell me how you know there are laws of nature.
Because we experience the laws of nature. We experience.
No. What you are saying is because there has been a consistency of events.
Of course, yes.
Without deviation.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That is the product of laws of nature.
Yes,
but that does not necessarily entails the laws of nature, because chance.
Yeah.
In a non-laws of nature world, chance can produce the same thing.
Yeah, but as I said, for this argument, what I believe is the anthropic principle. What that means, that we had eternal times to roll the dice, and we came to.
I understand this all, but
yes,
it's not specific to what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand.
What instituted and secures laws of nature?
Now I understand. Okay.
Unless the laws of nature are absolute and eternal themselves, in order to explain how they do exist, they actually exist. What institutes and secures that they do exist? If it is not God, what is it?
Yes, but now that assumes that God sustains the universe, isn't that right?
We're dismissing that temporarily for the sake of conversation.
Yeah.
What institutes and secures laws of nature so you can talk about a rock?
Yeah, we assume that the laws of nature are consistent in this universe. Now, why they are consistent?
I didn't ask you that they're consistent.
Yes.
Why are there laws of nature at all?
Why they are laws of nature?
Yeah, if you ask me that, I'll say because that's the way God made his creation. But you don't accept that. So why are there laws of nature, sir?
We have laws of... okay, that is... because this inevitably, the answer must be inevitably. We inevitably have laws of nature.
Okay, well then if it's inevitable, then that means that something is necessary and absolute that brings that about. What is it?
So, both atheists and theists believe that something always existed. I believe that this something was a quantum environment.
Okay, now here's the problem, okay? The very reason or criterion that you use to dismiss God, you're violating when you invoke what you just said.
Why? I don't understand that.
Because you have no ground. What is this ultimate absolute that's not God?
Okay, let me the ultimate absolute. Okay, I believe that if there is an absolute, there is one absolute. So I say
no. There can't be an if. If there isn't something that is fundamentally, foundationally, and metaphysically absolute, you can't talk about rocks.
First of all, let's all admit that these questions are difficult, but you are in a sense.
Did you understand what I just said?
Please repeat yourself, sir.
If there is nothing attested to or identifiable as ultimate and absolute.
Yes.
Nothing is identified as absolute.
Yes.
That will destroy your ability to talk about rocks.
Yes, I agree. So we must have...
Okay, so there has to be something...
Exactly,
in any worldview... Listen, in any worldview...
Exactly, yes.
Something must be absolute.
We agree.
In most worldviews, people believe that there is something absolute, whether they're specific or they're vague and unclear about it.
Okay, we agree on that. So we both agree that there was an eternal initial essence. Why this essence is God? This is what we need to investigate. Okay, so I believe that the cosmos, our universe began. The cosmos always existed, and I can give my reasons why I believe the cosmos always existed. So I believe there was an initial essence that it was eternal, but now we need to investigate why.
I'm not clear. What is it that is absolute and ultimate?
The initial essence, which I believe is a quantum environment, for example.
Now stop right there. Yes. Now, when you identify what is absolute and ultimate, it's either going to be singular or plural.
Yes,
Now, hold on. Either what is ultimate and absolute, the source of all possibility and impossibility, will either be one thing,
Yes.
or it will be reality.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay? Which is your view?
My view is that, in a sense, in a sense, is one thing.
No, it's either one thing, or it's a plurality.
Yes.
Which is it?
Why I'm putting a small caveat here, because we are talking in the quantum level, which is not.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're invoking scientific
No, it's
categories. All I want to know.
It's one thing.
What is okay? What is that one thing?
I believe this thing is an environment, a quantum environment.
No, that would be a plurality.
That's why I put this kind of caveat, because
Then it's not one thing; it's a plurality.
Okay, you can call a quantum environment a plurality.
So
Okay.
you believe that there are two or more indivisible, undivided things, particulars, that is the source of all possibility, right?
Yes. Let's say. Yes.
Okay, here's the problem. Once you have something that is two or more that are not an absolute unity, okay?
Yeah.
What we have is diversity without unity. It's a plurality without unity, right?
Yeah.
Then it cannot be ultimate, because then each of the members of the plurality would exist in and of themselves. And if two or more of these particulars exist in and of themselves, then none of the individual particulars of the plurality are the reason why anything else exists.
Yeah, but
did you understand that?
I understand exactly what you mean, sir.
Okay,
but
so therefore, the plurality cannot be designated as ultimate.
yeah, I understand what you mean, sir. But
What's that, Mar?
Yes, please.
Maybe you just had no mic. Okay.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
You can no longer say that they're ultimate. You can only say so then that means then each of the particulars are absolute within themselves,
Yes,
but none of them individually is ultimate.
Yes, but you presuppose this is a person. Why not an environment? Why not?
No,
Environment
okay,
is
we
not.
can listen. We can get to that in a moment.
Yes.
I'm trying to show you the
Yes, I understand.
incoherency of denying the creator-creation distinction.
Yes, but you say what you say. One, I can say one.
So no, you're not understanding. We have a plurality of particulars.
Yes.
None of them dictate the existence of any of the others. They are simply what they are by virtue of themselves. They are self-contained and absolute. Therefore, one particular does not institute and secure another particular. Each of the particulars are considered to be absolute in and of themselves.
Yes, sir.
But they're not ultimate.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you mean.
Okay, so you recognize that? So now this plurality, all you have is an unimaginable number of particulars, and therefore what one particular could institute, another one could take it away.
Sir, God has God qualities. Yes,
We're not talking about God
yes,
right now.
I'm trying to make an analogy. So
You're not understanding.
yes,
okay?
I'm trying to make the
Somebody
distinction.
could put a brand new bicycle in my driveway, and my other neighbor comes and he takes it away.
Yes, sir, but I understand exactly what you mean.
Okay, now the point is simply this: are each of the absolute particulars, are they unchanging?
Yeah. Okay. What I'm saying is a quantum environment with certain qualities. You say that there's many
It
things.
doesn't matter. Stop invoking the scientific term.
You're not answering the question.
It's not
Yes.
relevant. Okay, I'm going even deeper metaphysically.
Yes.
Okay? It doesn't matter that you talk about the quantum realm. It's irrelevant. Okay? I'm not trying to be dismissive of you. I don't think you're a stupid guy. In fact, I think you're a very smart guy. I'm trying to show you that when you dismiss God's self-disclosure of himself, you then will turn and say, well, the natural world explains everything. Well,
yes.
You told me then that there are two or more particulars that are eternal. They are without beginning.
Yes.
Now, are they absolute and unchanging?
They are absolute. They are. Okay.
Are they unchanging?
Unchanging? No, because a quantum environment gives rise
We're
to...
We're not talking about a quantum environment here, sir.
Yes, but that's the issue. That my...
We're not. No, it's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is we're being more precise here. Okay. At one time, as you well know, the word atom meant something that was indivisible, right?
Yes. The atom. Yes,
okay.
But yeah.
That's right. That's why why the Greeks used the word atom. Okay? Because it was thought to be a particular that could not be any more divisible.
Yes.
Okay? Now, you're talking about certain stuff at a quantum level. But for all you know, there could be far many other levels than that.
Yeah, so
but I'm not getting into that issue. I'm saying is whatever the most foundational particulars are, whatever that is.
It must be one. That is what you mean. It must be one.
No. Okay. So we don't need to invoke quantum physics anymore because it's not relevant.
Okay.
Okay. So are each of the particulars absolute and unchanging?
No, they are not unchanging.
Because so they're not absolute then.
No. Okay.
See, in order to be absolute,
yes,
you're
I know
going
what
to have to be self-contained.
Yes, I understand.
You do not begin to exist, and you do not change.
Okay, so the quantum environment.
If listen to me, we're not, okay. Again, I'm going to say you one more time.
Because you asked me what you.
We're not discussing the quantum realm.
How can I say
right
that?
Now, the quantum realm is speculative.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Good. So please don't mention the quantum realm.
Okay. Why am I mentioning that?
Are each of these particulars that you believe replace God?
Yes.
Are they absolute and unchanging, or do they change?
Okay, let's say it's absolute because the quantum. Okay, how can I call that? The environment remains, but it also gives birth.
Then wait a minute. Are all of the particulars unchanging?
That's why. What is the thing that confuses me? Because I say a quantum environment, but this environment has qualities.
How many times do I have to?
Yes, but I don't know how else to describe this. It's an environment.
But the point, no, you don't say quantum realm because you could be making the same mistake that the Greeks did when they referred to the atom.
Yeah, the initial essence. I say it's an environment.
Listen to me. But you see. What if it turns out that whatever you consider at the quantum realm, that it goes far deeper than that? Then you're going to be in the same position where the Greeks thought that atoms were indivisible.
Yes, but with all due respect, you are making...
Okay, so here's the problem.
Yes.
Okay? Your appeal to naturalism means that you have to believe that something is eternal, right?
Yes.
And what you believe eternal is not singular. Therefore, none of the particulars are ultimate.
Yeah.
Therefore, what it means is anything can happen. What one particular brings about, right? Because it's not absolute because it changes, right? So what one particular brings about, another particular could change.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So now what you are in is a realm of absolute chance and mystery.
Yes, but now you're making the special pleading.
Hold on a second. what I'm about to say cannot be defeated.
He just agreed. He just agreed. He said yes.
Let me try to explain what I mean.
Listen,
okay.
Listen. Why don't you listen for a minute?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think I sound like I know what I'm talking about. All right.
Yes. Of course.
Now, when you reject God's self-disclosure of Himself for whatever reason you think is good, right? Your only alternative is a world that is surrounded and shrouded in ultimate mystery.
No, mystery, yes, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay, no, hold on a second. There's no yes, but. It's either yes or no.
Yes, it is a mystery.
Okay, stop right there.
Game over.
No, it's not game over because, let me explain why.
Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully, okay? And by the way, I think you're a really nice guy, right? I deal with a lot of jerky atheists, and you're not, okay? So we disagree, but it's nothing personal, and I think you're a good guy.
First of all, I would like to say that atheists, and Christians should be allies in a sense against Islam, I think, because Islam is political. Anyway, that's another conversation.
Okay, so here's the problem, okay?
Yes.
So in order for you to understand to a greater degree why your God denialism is not coherent, is you first have to understand what you're rejecting, okay?
Yeah.
So when you and I are driving along the Greek countryside, having a good old time, you're showing me all the beautiful villages and Greek food, which I would love to visit Greece one day. And we got a flat tire, right?
Yes.
And you and I see a funny-looking rock on the side of the road. Now, in the Christian worldview, what that rock is only in virtue of starting in God's mind.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I understand that you do not accept that.
I don't believe consciousness is at the center of the universe.
Let me finish. Got to focus. Listen to me. Okay? The way I'm going to show you that the not God position is not coherent, you first have to understand what you don't accept. Okay?
Yes.
Now, so that rock on the side of the road, and by the way, it could be any object. Okay? It could be a cell phone. Okay? It could be a bird. Doesn't matter. The rock on the side of the road is only what it is because of where it started in the mind of God. Okay? Yeah. Now, I understand that you do not accept that that's actual, but you need to understand that that is the Christian position.
I understand
that. That is the theistic position.
The theistic position, yes.
So now, you are rejecting that the rock only is a rock because of what it started on with the mind of God, and then God implemented and instituted in His mind, and the rock is only what it is because of the mind of God. So God, in this view, okay, definitionally, okay, I understand you don't accept it.
Yes.
Okay, God is the ultimate background information.
I understand that.
The rock. Now let's come to your view. You reject that the rock is a rock because of the mind of God.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is...
Now, what then is the ultimate background information in order for a rock to be a rock?
Is what I believe is
and
that...
Don't say quantum realm.
Okay, I won't go to quantum mechanics because that's... how can I say? It's like sending the ball to the... nobody understands quantum mechanics, so it's not fair to start talking about quantum mechanics. What I'm trying to say that maybe information is descriptive.
No, I don't want to
descriptive.
No.
Descriptive instead of inscriptive.
Listen, I don't want a maybe.
Yes.
You believe that God is not necessary.
Sir, you just made a very good, very intelligent, internally consistent argument, which is internally it's true. So I could possibly make an internally consistent argument.
Can you focus on my questions, please?
Yes, please tell me. Yes.
Okay.
What I'm saying is what we say we need to connect.
Okay, since you do not need God as the ultimate background information in order to make a rock, what is your ultimate background information that makes the rock a rock?
Nature.
No, you're not understanding.
Yes, please tell me again.
Nature is completely shrouded in darkness and mystery.
Yeah, but we
No,
if
you're
we
not
don't,
understanding. Nature is not something that is singular. It's a conceptual framework.
Yeah, but now we're
In other
confused.
words, listen to me. All you're simply saying then is ultimate mystery equals nature.
Yeah, but mystery imply.
You're not understanding.
Yeah, I understand exactly
When
what
you
you
say
say.
nature, that is the same thing as saying reality.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you why that's flawed.
Yes.
Because reality is a concept of a collection of particulars. So all you're saying when I talk about a rock, the rock is going to be composed of ultimately a collection of irreducible particulars.
You mean the concept of the rock, not the physical item.
No. The rock ultimately will reach something that's indivisible.
Indivisible. You mean, yes, because now we need to separate. You don't mean the physical
when you
object.
say nature, listen. When you say nature, that is the same thing as saying reality is what makes the rock a rock. But that does not answer the question, and here's why. It's because then all you're just simply saying is the set of particulars, nature, the set of particulars determine the particulars.
Yes, we cannot account for
that
objective
doesn't answer
reasoning.
the question. You're not understanding.
No, I'm understanding perfectly, sir.
You're not. No, it doesn't answer the question. Because listen to me.
Yes, please.
You have nothing that unifies and controls all the particulars. Because at any given time, one particular could change while another does not.
Yes.
So, do you now understand that your rock is shrouded in ultimate mystery?
Yeah, but that now we conflate.
Is that a yes? Is that a yes?
Can I elaborate?
Is that a yes?
But we are conflating the two things: the concept and the physics.
Is your rock shrouded in ultimate mystery?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now we have two scenarios. We have two situations. One where a rock is only a rock because it starts in the mind of God and continues in the God's redemptive plan of human history. And a rock will only be what a rock is and its relationship to other things because of God's.
Yes? No, I cannot hear anything. Sorry, I cannot hear anything. Maybe your microphone is muted. Sorry, sir, I cannot hear you.
I said your rock is what it is because of an ultimate world of mystery and chance.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Now,
that's true.
do you know? Okay, so what that means now, if you're in a world of ultimate chance, okay, then you cannot have meaning and intelligibility for anything.
Exactly, we cannot account for objective reasoning, yes.
No, you're not understanding. It's not that I agree with you that you can't account for it, but you can't even have intelligibility for a rock.
I understand perfectly. Can I give an argument against that?
Can you have intelligibility for a rock that is simply shrouded in an ultimate chance existence?
No, I can. Yes.
Okay, so now in a chance world, listen to me.
Yes.
In a chance world, anything can happen, right?
Yes. Anything.
Okay. Now, anything can happen. Now, that's the world that you're choosing to believe in. Are we clear?
Yes.
Now, in the Christian worldview, anything cannot happen. The only thing that can happen is what is in accordance with God's plan.
Yeah, so
Okay?
so we need
So listen to me. Hold on a second. Suppose we get a flat tire and there's a big rock on the hill.
Yeah.
And then, because of God's sovereignty and providence, there's an earthquake.
Yes.
And that big rock rolls down and it crushes me. Right?
Yeah.
That happened because of God's plan. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, but you don't accept that God is creator and Lord over all.
I believe rationality is related.
Let me finish. Now let me finish.
Yes, please.
There cannot be rationality in a chance world. Now, I'm going to
Let's
explain
test
to you
that.
why. I'm going to explain why. Listen, and you're going to learn. In a chance world where anything can happen, there is nothing that is absolute. And if nothing is absolute and nothing is impossible, then you cannot have intelligibility, because then a rock could be a cat, and the cat could be a blade of grass, and then it could be an uncooked noodle.
Yes, but
Yes, but listen to me. Is anything impossible in your world?
is anything impossible? Yes, of course. There are many things that are
Good. What's
impossible.
impossible? What's impossible?
Impossible are things that do not comply with nature, with the physical world.
No. Okay, good.
Okay.
What's absolute in nature?
What's absolute in nature? The initial essence.
What is absolute that makes something impossible?
The initial essence. The initial essence that I call a quantum environment. That is the initial essence. Must be eternal.
And how do you know that it's absolute?
Let me explain why I know. Okay, because
if you say quantum again, I'm going to throw.
No, okay, I'm not going to say that. Okay, I believe that something always existed, and we agree on that.
No, I didn't ask you what you believe. I said, how do you know that anything is fundamentally absolute and unchanging?
Okay, let me. That's what I'm trying to explain.
How do you know that?
Okay, let me explain how I know that. The philosophical nothing never existed, and why is that? Because philosophers.
You're not answering my question.
No, how do I know
You're
that?
talking past me.
You say, how do I know that?
How do you know that anything is absolute and unchanging?
Okay, how we define an absolute? Something which is a constant, isn't that right?
Something that is unchanging.
Yeah, exactly. Something which is a constant.
How do you, listen carefully to my English,
yes.
Right? Focus on the question and I will shut up. How do you know that anything is absolute and unchanging?
Okay, I will try to explain. Okay, first of all, I believe that something always existed. Okay, now, okay, that's something.
You're doing it again. I'm going to stop you.
Yes.
Stop telling me what you believe in once upon a time. I want to know, how do you know that anything is absolute?
How do I know? No, knowledge is absolute certainty. Is something.
I'm not asking you for certainty. How do you know? When you say that something is absolute,
yes.
Okay?
Yes, but
is this an arbitrary, random belief that you have? Or do you have some path of justification?
I have some path of justification. First of all,
how do you know anything is unchanging?
Okay, let me explain. First of all, I believe that I know. I don't know because I don't claim absolute certainty. That will be illogical. Okay, I believe that. Okay, let's first define what is absolute. Absolute is
something that is unconditionally non-dependent, non-derivative. Listen carefully.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do I sound uneducated on this issue?
No. You sound very educated.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Whatever is absolute is something unconditionally non-dependent, non-derivative, does not begin to exist, and is unchanging.
I say absolute is a constant by its own merit. Is that the right definition? Absolute is a constant by its own merit.
How do you know that anything is absolute, unconditionally, non-dependent, and unchanging?
The only thing I claim I believe I know is that the only thing I claim I know, not I believe, is that nothing never existed, that it was always something.
Word. And I change not. The only way I can know that God is fundamentally unchanging in terms of his eternal character is because he revealed it. Now,
yes,
if this absolute of any kind that you refer to is impersonal, how do you know what is absolute?
I claim I know what. That because we have a problem with the definition of absolute.
Absolute means it does not begin to exist.
Yes,
it's not dependent, and it doesn't change.
Okay, exactly. Look.
How do you know that?
Okay, first of all, I know there is something that didn't begin to exist because we have a universe. Therefore, the philosophical nothing never existed because we have something. So the philosophical nothing means.
How do you know that there is something that is absolute?
That is what I'm trying to explain. First of all, I know that the philosophical nothing never existed. That is what I know.
You keep on repeating yourself.
Yeah.
I've heard this before.
Yes, but
I understand that you want to reject an infinite regress. That's fine.
Okay.
But that's not the issue what I'm asking you about.
Yes.
I'm asking you why anything at all, okay? Is there more than one thing that's absolute?
I believe what is always exists is a quantum mechanic, a quantum environment.
Okay. You're about to hear me throw up on my MacBook.
Okay, an environment. Okay,
I don't want to do that.
Okay, sorry. I won't say again quantum environment.
Is there more than one thing that is absolute?
Is there more than one thing that is absolute? What is
It's a simple question.
Yes.
Is there only one thing that's absolute? Or are there many things that are
I have a problem with the unchanging stuff, but although, we can say an
Socrates, environment. I'm losing my patience.
Sir, why
is
a
there
dynamic?
Only one thing that is absolute, or is there more than one thing that's absolute?
It's one thing. Okay, but
okay, good. So how did you determine that there's only one thing that is absolute? How did you determine that?
That's right. That is what I'm trying to explain. But because this is how do I know? Okay, I have a logic that explains. Okay, absolute means certain things. The one condition for something to be absolute, you said it yourself, sir, that it's always existed. I know that something always existed. So, but that thing.
Wait, hold on a second.
What? Okay, I call the.
Did you tell me? Hold on a second.
Yes.
Did you tell me that the rock on the side of the road is surrounded in ultimate mystery?
Yes, but that is a conscious state.
Okay, stop right there.
Yes.
The rock is enveloped and surrounded metaphysically in ultimate mystery. In other words, what is ultimate?
Yes,
and fundamental is unidentifiable and unknown.
But our state of consciousness doesn't
you know what our problem here is?
Affects reality.
You're not focusing on what I'm saying to you.
Sir, I understand what you say, but mystery implies.
But you're not focusing.
Yes.
Is the ultimate metaphysical characteristic of everything unknown?
The ultimate. You said the ultimate. Unknown. Unknown implies our consciousness.
You know what? My patience has just about run out. Yeah. Is the ultimate nature of existence?
No, mystery. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Okay, stop right there. Then, if the ultimate nature of reality, the most fundamental, foundational state there could be.
Yes.
Out of which all things derive, okay?
Yes.
Okay. then that means that anything is possible and nothing is impossible. Are we clear?
No, because there are certain qualities.
You're not getting this, Socrates. Listen, if ultimate reality, what is the most fundamental and foundational and is ultimate, is unknown and unidentifiable,
yes, it
then
is.
you cannot say that anything is impossible.
Now I get what you say. That's a presupposition.
Do you understand now? Do you understand now?
Yes, but I'm not claiming absolute certainty.
Okay. Listen to me. It never ceases to amaze me, Parakeet, that when you converse with these atheists, and this guy's a cordial guy. Okay, there's no doubt about it. They always want to change the subject over to a discussion of certainty. We're not discussing certainty.
Okay, I will try to understand what you mean.
Here's the problem. Since ultimate reality is shrouded in mystery,
yes,
then you cannot assert that anything is impossible. Are we clear?
Yes, but
there's no yes, but. It's either yes or no.
I cannot, tell me again, please. I cannot assert that. Tell me again, please.
Listen, I'm going to say it again.
Yes.
Your English is good enough, you should understand this. Focus on what I'm saying.
Yes.
If ultimate reality is shrouded in mystery,
yes,
it's unknown, then you will not be in a position to assert that anything is impossible.
And when Darth says that, he doesn't mean that the words couldn't come out of your mouth. He means that any assertion you make wouldn't have a basis.
It would be indefensible. So, do you understand that nothing being impossible follows when you have a world shrouded in mystery?
Yes, but let me make an argument.
Is that a yes? Hold on a second. Is that a yes?
In other words, we cannot, without God, we cannot discuss.
Socrates, listen to me.
Yes.
We're trying to have a conversation here. You keep on talking past me. I'm talking to you. You are talking past me. Does a world
I know exactly what you
mystery,
mean. Now, I know exactly what you mean.
Listen, Socrates, listen. And listen for other people in the room. And people say I'm impatient. Does a world shrouded in ultimate mystery entail that nothing can be asserted and defended to be impossible?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. We've made progress. Stop right there. Just stop. Okay? So now, in your world, nothing can be invoked to be impossible.
Yeah. Let me say something against that.
Listen carefully. If nothing is impossible, that destroys human intelligibility.
Exactly. Okay, that's the point, which I
totally
got.
Do you accept that?
No, I don't accept that, and I will tell you my reason.
Okay, then I'm going to have to explain it to you then.
No.
Because then, listen to me.
Yes.
If nothing is impossible, listen, Socrates. If nothing is impossible, then A could equal not A.
If nothing is the logical absolutes. Yes.
Is it impossible for A to equal not A?
Is it impossible? Yes, it's impossible for logical.
No, you just contradicted yourself because you just admitted that in your world nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. Okay, we cannot account for.
We're done.
The argument. Sorry,
thank you for your time.
No, excuse me, sir.
The guy has been. What's that?
Bad. That was a total bloodbath. I felt bad for that guy.
Guys, are you serious? Let me say something. This is presuppositional apologetics. Okay.
There's no doubt about it.
Let me tell you what is the logical fallacy of this reasoning. Guys,
was trolling. I think he's so focused on what he thinks that he's just.
Can I speak for 5? I understood what you said.
Understanding the ramifications of what he's saying.
Sir, can I make?
I think I let it go on twice as long as it should have. And I appreciate, and I'm going to unmute him shortly. Okay. So, I mean, I don't have any antipathy toward him, but just he's just not getting it. Okay.
He agreed.
Once
He said nothing is impossible, and then he said but.
What?
Nothing is impossible, but. Nothing is impossible.
No, but he just said that A cannot equal not A, but that's an impossibility. But he said nothing's impossible. Okay? Now, the laws of logic, the laws of thought, A equals A cannot equal not A, something's either A or not A, these are necessary preconditions for human intelligibility. Now, he said that he doesn't believe in God because it doesn't make sense. I already explained to him that God revealing himself makes things possible, and intelligible because of his creator status. I just showed him that by rejecting the self-disclosure of God, his worldview collapses into a world nothing makes sense. Because nothing's impossible. And if nothing's impossible, then you can't make sense of anything. Because what you call a chicken could be a rock. It could be a chicken at the same time that it's a rock. And the same time that it's rock, it's not a rock. And so I just showed him that the denial of God results in gibberish. Nothing can mean anything. Nothing's impossible. And so if nothing's impossible, then when you say to me, you owe me $10, I'll say, you're right. When are you giving me my $10? You say, no, you're getting this wrong. You borrowed $10 for the McDonald's Big Mac, French fries, and large diet soda. I said, you know what? You're right. Give me my $10.
Quick question, Dar. Why'd you find yourself in that dumpster fire on Real Politics?
What?
Why'd you find yourself in that dumpster fire on Real Politics?
Real Politics?
That was
yesterday?
No, that was on Best Religious Debates.
It said Real Politics when I was watching the stream earlier.
Who was I speaking to?
This dude named MG, I think.
MGTOW.
Yeah, MGTOW.
It was the one with Angstrike 2 hours ago.
That was Best Religious Debates.
Yeah, I don't know why did it say Real Politics? I swear that's what it said when I was looking at the stream.
Todd Locke,
you must not believe in God.
Are you drinking, Todd Locke?
No, sir. But I can go directly to the Supreme Leader stream. We'll say that.
Well, yesterday I was in there and I was able to have a productive defense in spite of the trolls, a few trolls that are in there. So I went back in there today, and of course they were two of the people I talked to got totally trounced and eviscerated. The fact that every time I asked them a question, they gave some convoluted response to something we weren't even talking about. And that's when Angstrike came in with all of his cult group